And we're back, guys, for some more 2K content. And yes, I am here for some more ranked matches for you. We got a doubleheader again. And in this one, I'm going to have the Pacers taking on the Blazers. And my opponent's record is only 4-1, I think. Nothing crazy, but, you know, at least it's a winning record. And then the next match, I think the guy's 5-2. So, you know, it should shape up to be some pretty decent games. And then the next one, again, I don't know if I said this already, but I have the Thunder taking on the Pacers. So, it is what it is. Let's see what we can learn today. Now, one thing you want to learn how to do is offensively learn how to, ooh-wee. You want to learn how to really beat the computer defender, because one thing you're going to come across a lot online is just man-to-man, and they let the computer play defense pretty much everywhere, and they'll just sit on their center all game, or they'll sit on, you know, whoever that's not a part of the play and just kind of play man defense like that all game. And that's something you're going to need to be able to beat. And a few things you want to be able to do is go inside in the post. You want to be able to use some nice ISO moves. You want to know which players on your team are going to be the best to do that with. So, for example, if I'm using the Thunder, I don't want to run my offensive ISOs and one-on-one, you know, situations in the post through Kendrick Perkins. Ibaka, cool, not the best option, but Ibaka is a better option than Kendrick Perkins. Collison's a better option than Kendrick Perkins. As you can probably tell, I'm not a huge Kendrick Perkins fan. But the whole idea here is that you don't want to, even if I'm using the Pacers, I don't want to run my offense through Hibbert. Hibbert's cool, but West would be a much better option offensively. Now, Hibbert's a beast on defense, but offensively, he's going to be the guy that gets you rebounds, maybe gets some putbacks, maybe gets one post play a game. But for the most part, if you want a consistent offense, Hibbert's just going to be the guy that gets the putback layups. He's going to get offensive rebounds to give you those second chance points, maybe kick it back out or whatever the case may be. But when it comes to doing offensive possessions and running the offense through someone, you're going to want to run it through either West or Scola. And Scola is a super sleeper player that a lot of people aren't super high on. They don't know too much about him, but he used to be a star in his own right when he played with the Rockets, and he's definitely a great asset to have for the Pacers, and one that's really going to be nice off the bench for them. And I think he's going to hugely benefit them in real life, particularly when they play the Heat in a series. I think it's inevitable that the Final Four is going to be the Thunder, the Spurs, the Heat, and the Pacers, given no injuries and everything else constant. But as of right now, man, it looks like it's pretty much going to be set in stone. I ain't going to say that much, but it's pretty likely that that's going to be the outcome. So that's just the idea there. When you're running your offense, just know which guys can do what. Also, you don't want to be driving to the rim with a guy that's a spot-up shooter. So when I use the Kings, although Jimmer Fredette is a great shooter, I'm not going to be wanting to drive to the rim and ISO one-on-one with him. He's going to be the guy that if they help off with another defender, that if he's left open, that he's going to make that open shot. That's what his purpose is going to be. So you got to understand your personnel, got to know who's good at what. So if I'm using the Kings, I'm actually going to most of the time be driving with Rudy Gay and trying to ISO with him. Once in a while Thomas, but for the most part, it's going to be Rudy Gay that you're going to run the offense through as far as driving and trying to beat your man on the outside one-on-one, or you're going to go to the post, which is always a good option as well. So get your post moves down, learn which ones work with which guys. Certain moves work better with certain guys. Some guys like the fade, some guys like the hook, some guys are up and under, some guys are just, you know, create as much space as you can and then get buckets. Anybody on the game can make an open layup. So regardless if it's Kendrick Perkins, if it's Thabeet, if it's Kevin Garnett, you know, if it's LaMarcus Aldridge, whoever it is, they're all going to make open layups under the basket. So even if it's a backup dude, everybody can pretty much make an open layup or, you know, get a rebound and make a putback layup if there's no help defenders there to help contest the shot. However, there will be a huge difference if there is. Right here, we go ahead and front Scola. He's been going to the post a lot. Quick tip there. But if there is help underneath, you don't want to be taking those contested layups, even if they're right under the basket. A lot of the times, if you're getting a contested layup animation with a guy that can't make it, or with, you know, a backup guy not named Scola, or like, you know, a Robinson for the Blazers, or, you know, just some backup dude for any random team in the league. Most of the time, you're not going to want to do that. You're not going to have a lot of success. So if you are going to take those contested layups and contested shots, you want to do it with your superstar. You want to do it with your all-star. Also, don't defend guys that can't shoot at the three-point line, like a Hibbert at the three-point line. So as you see, this possession here, I just sat on Perkins because Hibbert was at the three-point line. And kind of just was like, if you want to be out there, kick it out there. I'll help out my other defenders in the inside here. And it ended up paying it off for us. And we end up getting Hibbert to take a contested shot, which, again, Hibbert is a great player, but he's not an offensive guru like that. You don't go to Hibbert to run your offense. He's not going to make a lot of those contested buckets where West and maybe Scola will. So that's going to be key right there. Offensively, I guess we'll just continue offensively because there's a lot of things. Again, get those perfect releases down. I've mentioned that before, but you know, giving yourself the best opportunity to make a basket is going to be the best thing you can do, because it's really going to force your opponent to either, you know, really defend that perimeter line, really defend the mid-range. And there's so many people that don't take advantage of mid-range. Even when they use the Thunder, they won't shoot a mid-range with Kevin Durant. Like, that's a money shot. Like, you know, that's just about as good as a layup. It's not as good as a layup, but it's, you know, pretty as close as you can get to a layup with a mid-range with a player like Kevin Durant. And there's a lot of other guys that have good mid-range as well. Another thing to pay attention to is if you're using the Thunder, for example, just as an example, a player like Sefolosha. He can shoot threes, but his mid-range game is horrendous. So you don't want to be taking mid-range shots with Sefolosha. So, you know, understand your players' ratings. Know which ones are good, which ones are bad. Some guys can shoot mid-range and not threes. Some guys it's the opposite around. Some guys are good at driving. Some guys can't really shoot. Some guys are good in the post. Some guys are just good defensive players. And every player has their assets they can bring to a team. And pretty much anybody can make a layup or a dunk, especially if it's open. And anybody can, you know, make a putback shot as long as they're open and it's not contested. So with that being said, you have to understand that, and then you will be good to go. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. Hopefully some of these tips will help you guys. Really understanding your personnel will help your offense out a lot. And until the next time, we gone.